You're listening to the Telltale Channel. Don't forget to check me out on all social media: Patreon, Twitter, Teespring, and Etsy. All links can be found in the description or on my website, telltaleatheist.com. Hey, this is Owen. If you're comfortable, leave your first name and state at the sound of the tiny truck backing up.
Yeah, I was wondering your take on the idea of a government banning a church. While I kind of want to agree with you, I would compare in some circumstances the banning of organizations like the Ku Klux Klan or organizations that become essentially terrorist operations. If the Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons or Catholics, any one group, is a group that is fostering these things and causing and covering up these behaviors, I don't care if someone believes in being Catholic or Jehovah's Witnesses on a personal level, but you have an organization, a church with a hierarchy performing these things. What's the difference in that case between that and the mafia selling drugs or killing people? It's kind of a harsh comparison, but still, it's the hierarchy and organization carrying out these things. And so what's your take on banning that, to simplify it, banning the organization of a church, but still allowing its practice on a personal level? Just pitching that one at you. Take it however you will. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Extremely interesting question, man. Thank you so much for calling in with that, because, this really got me thinking, like, what is my position on this exactly, and why do I hold that position? So right now, a lot of people know Jehovah's Witnesses have been banned in Russia because they've been called an extremist organization, and extremist organizations are not allowed in Russia, I guess. So they've been banned. They're not allowed to gather. You're allowed to believe it. You're allowed to hold these beliefs or whatever, but you're not allowed to gather at the Kingdom Hall. Pretty much exactly what you're describing here. You don't have a problem with the people holding the beliefs and practicing it at home or whatever, but banning the organizations who are pretty much acting like the mafia. And honestly, you said it's a harsh comparison. In some cases, it's not a harsh comparison. In some cases, it is absolutely exactly like the mafia. Like the things that they do, the ways that they do it, the manipulation tactics. I mean, just look at Scientology. It is like the mafia in a lot of ways. So not an unfair comparison. So what's my position on this? There are bodies on these organizations' consciences. There are bodies that these organizations are responsible for, especially the Ku Klux Klan, like you mentioned, not just them. Jehovah's Witnesses have bodies on their hands. Scientology has bodies on their hands. So in a lot of ways, it is a lot like the mafia. You're right. Should we ban them? The problem with banning organizations like that, and we can see this happening in Russia because they banned them, so we know the results. We know what happens when you ban them. Their persecution complex comes out full swing. And it's not just them screaming religious persecution. It's everybody around you. It's everybody. Like, there are human rights watchdog groups in the U.S. basically lobbying for Jehovah's Witnesses, working with Jehovah's Witnesses to get them reinstated or whatever in Russia right now. Human rights groups. Because people believe that it's a fundamental human right to assemble or to hold these beliefs and these practices and things like that. Banning a religion usually ends worse for you than for them. Pretty much. It does more damage to the cause because the government loses the respect of the people of the world, the reasonable, rational, honest thinking people of the world usually side with the right to assemble. So how do you deal with it? I believe how we should deal with it is, since banning these religions usually ends up worse for us than for them, we should fine the organizations for every human rights violation. Say $10 for every human rights violation. Jehovah's Witnesses are telling people that they're not allowed to talk to their friends or family who leave the religion. That's a human rights violation. Articles 18 and 20 of the Declaration of Human Rights. Fine them $10 per violation. you would find that before long they run out of money, and either they close their doors completely or they stop. One of the two. So that's my solution to it. It may not be a perfect solution, may not be the solution that we need, but I do think that it would be a better solution than banning the religions outright. Because, as I said, it almost invariably ends worse for us than for them.